Hey YouTube, it's Rob. Alright, the purpose of this video is to point out the myriad flaws with Dandin's tactic for reverse charming. Uh, First and foremost, I want to say that his UI is the most god-awful thing I've ever seen. I know it's just a cosmetic review of him, but yeah, don't play with. He's got his entire screen covered with crap. I don't understand why you would do that. Anyway, so let's just start with the tactics. So he uses two unhasted dual wielding pet killers, not four, not six. Um, yeah, that's pretty much the way he does it. Okay, so let's just start out. Okay, so first the setup. I'm going to give it an honest shot here, and we'll just see how fast I can go with it. I've got myself self-buffed. We're going to go ahead and, just get the rest of the setup here taken care of. I got one out here already. Notice how he's stuck there, actually. That mob's not rooted or anything. He's stuck there because the part that he didn't tell you is if you blur a pet killer, it will warp or do its best to warp back to its home spawn point. It's not able to get any farther here because there's this wall and there's like kind of a bug in this particular zone with this wall. Like they get stuck in the wall as they're warping back. So he's stuck right there. Like I said, as you can see, he's not aggro or rooted or anything. So I'll just leave him there for now. Another trick I wanted to show you guys, I don't know if you have this trick already. I use a bag called the Extra Planar Trade Satchel, which is 32 slot bag, but it will only hold, you can buy these from players really cheap actually, but they will only hold um, trade skill parts, which is, I keep two of them on me at all times. One to pick up like the junk I pick up from looting mobs, and another one that I keep filled with daggers because daggers are trade skill. You can use these in for trade skill stuff, but they also work just fine for pet dual wielding weapons. So this becomes like my dual wielding satchel, and it's a nice way to store a bunch of pet weapons. Okay, so just punt him. Root him, or mess him, I mean. Yeah, he can get punted too. Alright. Alright, bring him out here. So, I did this, took him to like right here before the other one, but you can kind of go like this. Use your companion's relocation to sort of drag him along with you a little bit. It's going to break charm in a second here anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And not break charm, but break mass. Alright, so you see the setup process becomes more and more difficult. I could use the damn, God, I can't even remember what the hell it's called. I don't use it anymore because it's level capped. Um, but so what I'll do here is give him the weapons. Dandin does not show any haste on these guys, and I'll go over why he doesn't. He gives some bullshit excuse about frame rate. I don't know how having a mob haste is going to affect frame rate at all, but yeah. Alright, so they're both stunned. Alright, they're both rooted. There's a bunch of different ways you can use to do that. There's no one perfect way that's going to work in every single zone. Um, yeah, so we're still trying to get set up here, so I've wasted a bunch of time already. In my opinion, it's a waste of time compared to different tactics. Alright, so now we're ready to go ahead. I'll blur these things just to be safe because that's the way I would personally do it. He doesn't show that, but when I'm off getting a pet, I don't want to have those damn things running at me. Alright, so now it's time to do some killing. Um, so the first thing we gotta do is get a pet. I'll use this Grendlin here. Grendlane, whatever you want to call it. And yes, I'm gonna use my Tash stick just to prove a point. He didn't even use Tash for a couple of them I saw. And the reason for that is because, like he said, you're only going to be keeping him for a few seconds, so what the hell is the difference? And then he goes right out right away and then flames me for using the Tash stick, and then he agrees that it doesn't matter if you use it or not, because they're only going to be alive for a few seconds. Alright, so I'm at benchmark is 25 here. Okay, that's my AA EXP, and it's at 25. I'll sit him a couple times. Because you're going to see it doesn't matter about the DPS, because it's not the you're not going to be slowed down by how fast your mobs die here. You're going to see here in a second, you're going to be slowed down by how fast you can get another pet. And that's the problem with this tactic. It's not that you don't want more DPS, it's that you have to find spots where you can get enough mobs to make it useful to do that. Damn it. Oh, see, he already broke. So we're getting into some of the problems with this tactic. I was off getting a pet, and my dude already broke. So now what? Now I got a few options here. This is what I would do. You're going to punt him back into place, which just comes with its own problems because you can't stack greater fetter on it when the punt root is on there. That's not too bad though. That's pretty good. So you have to wait until punt root wears off. Should be soon here. Oh, I lost one. I lost one. So you see the dangers with this tactic. There, I got it timed it just perfect too. So they're both rooted again. I lost one due to having to mess with the repositioning of the pet killers. Using my Tash stick. So so now you're gonna kind of start seeing. Let's just say I got it, okay? We'll even give him credit for it and say, okay, it was operator error. You know, it could have been different. But you noticed in his, he missed a few as well. He let the things chaos it. Now you can imagine if there was four of these, it just gets more and more difficult to time it perfectly, especially if you don't have Boots of the Mosquito, which you can use while you're moving. I'll refresh. Okay. Not bad. There are a few around here, so I mean, it starts out looking good. You know, there's a bunch of dudes here. I would have gotten, it should be 3 kills by now, but I only got 2 because I missed one. I did pick up this unearthed belt. It's kind of a pain to camp, but I picked it up. It's useful for certain things. It is useful, no doubt about that. It has a very long recast though, so it's not as useful as as Dandin was making it out for this tactic. Alright, so this would be mob number 4. My first AA. You need to kill for these guys. You need to kill 4 of them to get the experience. But you see what's happening here? I'm starting to have to run, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse, and that's the problem here. You don't have the bottleneck of DPS output, you have the bottleneck of being able to feed these things. Oh, look, see what happens? This is what happens, another thing that happens here. Um, See how he moved like that? Yeah, they warp, guys. That's a huge problem, is them warping. Um, and you either have two choices. You can so, okay, I try to move it so that now they're hitting both of them. So that's probably going to be a best case scenario because their warping will take them back to those particular spots. So I'll try and position the dudes to fight in between them. But you know, you're not going to always have that um, when um, when you've got you know, scenarios where you blur your pet killers and they warp back to home. Now you're stuck with no pet. You got to go get them. Or the other scenario is, okay, well, I'm not going to blur them. I'm just going to let them, uh, you know, get beat down over time. Well, then you have to go in and find new pet killers. You know, so that wastes your time. All right, so this guy looks like he's the closest here, so I'll use him. Been using Tashtic the whole time, by the way, guys. I don't know if anyone's noticed that. I'm doing it now out of spite, not because I would particularly do it. In this case, I would not normally be doing it because the mobs are far away anyway. It's not like I'm having to reposition and slowing myself down, but I'm just doing it to prove a point, really. So I'll try and get it like this, get it in between those two. Okay, so that's kind of a good spot. Rebroke on one of them, I'll just refresh it on both. But so you start to see that it's much more of a hassle, and this is a terrible zone to EXP. These things are worth half of what a mob is worth in Plane of Shadows for the exact same technique. It's not like I'm having to use more mana or do something like that. All right, nope, Tashtic. Okay, so for this technique at this spot, I'm doing it as I mean, maybe I could pick up, be a little bit more efficient here and there, but you know, I'm giving it an honest try. I'm not intentionally trying to skew this. I'm trying to do the best that can be done with this. Um, you know, I've killed like maybe what 5 or something, 6. The point is that this is not going to get you. Um, you will not be getting 70 AAs in a lesson burned by this. You would have to kill, if you do the math on it, these things each give, that one gave 26. They almost all give the exact same. So you get 26% AA per kill with nothing else, okay? So 26, let's say we'll double it, we'll just call it 50 to easily work it out. So you get a half an AA per kill with lessons running. You would need 65 mobs and to kill 65 mobs in 30 minutes. Um, to do that, it's not possible. Not in this spot. That's for sure. I mean, it might be possible in other spots, but definitely not here. So this is a terrible example of a way to do it. My technique is vastly superior for that zone, at least. Okay, good. Now let's see. He's not quite in range because he's smaller. All right, so you can try and see how I like positioned. Those guys are going to be stuck there with their roots, and even with the blur, they're going to go back there. They can't get to the wall. That's kind of a bug. But all right, so that's acceptable because you know I can abuse the bug a little bit, but you're going to find some places where you can't, and you'll blur them, and they'll go all the way down. All right, having to go farther and farther. Imagine your lessons is ticking. Alright, fine, I'll use the spell dash. Make people feel better. But you see, I didn't get one charm break with the Tash stick. So, you know, for our purposes here, it's strictly better if you ask me. I'm trying to position him so he can get hit by both. Okay, looks pretty good. Refresh the roots, the way I would do it. Something just broke. One of them. Probably that one. Oh, that was close. Almost lost it. But you don't want to see, it's almost worth losing the EXP, because if you have to go repositioning the things, it starts taking a long time. And it takes almost as long to go out and get a new pet as it does to kill it. All of this that I'm doing right here, this is all dead time the way I see it. This is time when you're not dealing any DPS, you're not working towards EXP, and it's going to get worse and worse. So you're going to have to go, before they respawn, you're going to have to go all the way out to the edges. See, the field around me is almost completely clear. That's exactly what I was trying to say. You do it like this, there's disadvantages. There are definitely disadvantages to doing this. Oops. Let's see, that thing is not even picking it up now. Alright, good. And you have to mess with them to get them to even both attack sometimes. I'm also doing the same. Like I put my stopping point for this technique. I put it at 6%, because that's what it'll be at in like Plain Shadows, or if you're in any kind of a zone where the mobs are close to you. Yeah, you're not gonna a double twin cast, a twin cast of Mind Cleave. You can only depend on it for about 6%. If it crits, yeah, fine, you're gonna get more, but so it's about half the speed. His way is about half the speed of mine. And you cannot do this in Plane of Shadows with two or more pet killers. Not like this, not like the way he's showing, because you can't just grab any pets and make them dual wield. This is not even the easiest thing in the world to get them both to get on the thing. That actually works out good. Alright, so I'll use that. Should be able to fit them between that. So that was all wasted downtime. Alright. Sorry, I had to talk to somebody there. Damn this thing. This is my computer, though. My computer gets mouse look issues for some reason when I alt-tab too much, too fast. So you see, I guess that's enough. You know, I'll just wipe my aggro here real quick. I guess that's enough to show you the weaknesses. Okay, so let's say, oh boy, there is one here. But you have to go farther and farther and farther to get kills. It's all wasted downtime. Um, and then you're dealing with two pet killers, and then the root breaks, and that's more wasted downtime. Let's say it's not. I mean, it's not terrible per se, but there's definitely drawbacks to doing it like this. You add complexity to it. You There we go. Finally, you remove consistency from it. So I get my diamonds. It's the only way I get loot. I don't raid, by the way, guys. So my gear comes from group stuff. I haven't been to City of Bronze in a while. I used to love it here. If I was going to do it, if I was going to still charm here, I would not do it the way he's showing here. What I would do is I would take this pet. See how he warped there? Just like that. That's exactly how they do. See, he went back right to that spot he was at before. That's how they warp. Sometimes the other one, you see it patted back and it went back to its home. But a lot of times, they'll try and warp back. But what I would do if I was gonna try and clear this field is I would charm him and I would take and I would bring him along. I would kill that thing, and I would like weave stun, nuke, nuke, stun, nuke, nuke. You know, with my uh, mana reverb aura, and then I would just keep going from mob to mob to mob. So yeah, the DPS is going to be less than having two static pet killers, but the upside is you're going to be able to get a lot more. You'll be able to clear the whole field. Um, so I don't see that as that killing rate that I just demonstrated there. I got a total of, let's see, 18. Yeah, like two or three. We'll call it three. Um, yeah, it's about half the speed of just using one pet killer and playing a shadow. So I would say, as for a demonstration, this is not a great demonstration from his part. You know, show me a zone where you can get 60 to 70 AAs per lesson sprint, because you will not get it here, not in this thing. Even if you could keep the pace up, let's just take a look at how many mobs are in this little field here. Just get a rough ballpark. Okay, so I got one, two. You know, I'll give you the whole field and borders. All right, so there's two. I've been through this field a million times. I used to clear it with stun charm when you get stun lock. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a PH there. 8. Most of the stuff's respawned. Okay, let's see what we got out here. Go 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's say 5 mobs. We'll call it 18. 5 mobs that I've killed that haven't respawned yet. Well, because we'll say 6. So we'll call it 18 plus 6 would be 24. Alright, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I already counted him. 30, 31 over there. 32. What's a quest, dude? 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So we'll call it 40, okay? And it's not 40. It's I think it's about 33. Um, but we'll just say 40. Okay, let's say there's 40 mobs if you go from, wall to wall. I'll give you the entire field and borders. There's 40 mobs there, and you won't get that far. You saw how far I could get, before they started repopping. You're not going to get that far. So you've got 40 mobs potentially to clear in 30 minutes. Um, it's not possible. It's not even close to possible. He has to kill 135 mobs to get 60 to 70 AAs, which is what he said he got here. 60 to 70 AAs per lesson burn. That's 135 mobs, because each one gives you half. So I said 65. I put it right in the middle of his estimate. So, yeah. Tell me how. Tell me how that's possible, Dandin. I would like to know. I don't care how many pet killers you have. It's not your DPS. It's the, environment. We're a product of content. Enchanters are absolutely, we go up and down in power by the content, that we're in, not by our gear and, not by our AAs. We go up and down in power by the content we're in, and of course level too. We scale with level, but obviously, kind of assume people are going to try and level up. So that's my video. I think it pretty much completely debunks his method here. Also, Jesus, Dandin, get yourself a better UI. That UI is god awful. You see how clear mine is? I'm not saying it's the best ever, but at least I have a clear view of the field and of what's going on. He's got a tiny little sliver up here, and then he plays in like third person on top of that. So, but whatever. Um, Let me know what you guys think. Go ahead and post your trolls there, Dandin prick. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and subscribe. Be making more of these probably later.